Greetings to one and all. I am Dr.Mary Neena, Assistant Professor of English, Nimla College for Women, Coimbatore. Today we are going to deal in detail the title poem The Lotus by Toru Dutt. Toru Dutt, known as John Keats of Indian English literature, her father Govind Chandra Dutt was a good linguist. She studied in Oxford University at an age of 16. Brought up as an Indian Christian, she is the blend of Western and Eastern cultures and education. She died at the age of 21. Toru Dutt's important works include A Sheaf Gleaned in French Field, The Young Spanish Maiden, Ancient Ballads and Legends of Hindustan, Our Casuarina Tree, an autobiography, and the poem that we are going to study, The Lotus. These prescribed poems have gained a good popular name in the realm of English literature. The poem The Lotus is from Toru Dutt's Ancient Ballads and Hindustan of Legend, 1882. It's a kind of a fable. The Lotus is a Petrarchan sonnet. Now let me read the lines of the poems. Love came to Flora asking for a flower. That would of flowers be undisputed queen. The lily and the rose long had been rivals for that high honor. Bards of power had sung their claims. The rose can never tower like the pale lily with her Genomian. But is the lily lovelier? Thus between flowers faction rank the strife in Psyche's bower. Give me a flower delicious as the rose and stately as the lily in her pride. But of what color? Rose red? Love first choose, then prayed, no, lily white, or both provide. And Flora gave the lotus, rose red, dyed, and lily white, the queenliest flower that blows. This poem explains or enacts a type of fable. It has two characters, a personified figure of love and Flora. Flora is a goddess of flower, and love asks Flora to create the most beautiful flower in the world. So love asks Flora, the goddess of flower, to identify which is the beautiful flower in this world. The lily and the rose had been rivals for that high honor, so a fight between them is described. Both the lily and the rose use their bards of power in their fight over the queenliest flower title. The rose never reaches the level of lily flower, but the lily has a strong-willed demeanor. All the flower groups start bitter conflict between them. So the comparison between lily and the rose is described by the poet. Now in this particular slide you can see the difference between, or a comparison that the poet describes between the lily and the rose. So like the pale lily with her, whereas for the rose can never tower. Now further let's discuss among the two flowers who is to be called the best. The qualities of the rose is called to be delicious and passion. So the poet Toru Dutt describes that. Now for the lily, she describes the qualities of the lily as pale and bright. Now love expresses a desire to have a flower that carries elements of both. Give me a flower delicious as the rose and stately as the lily in her pride. When asked what color the flower should be, love first says rose red, and then by saying no, lily white, or both provide. The poem ends with Flora gifting love the lotus, a flower that has both elements of lily's beauty and the rose beauty. The poem reflects Toru Dutt's personality between European and Indian ancient culture and knowledge. She uses the rose and the lily in the poem to describe the West and the East. The lily represents the white race and the rose the eastern race, such as her native India. The lotus indicates a fusion between West and East. Toru Dutt was raised as a Christian with Western ideology. She relates herself back to Eastern roots of India in the sonnet. The lotus is a representation of Toru's and her cultural encounters living in Western Europe. She interlaces her Western experience and education in order to create herself her beautiful native Indian lotus flower. So the themes which we have studied in this particular poem that you have taken: fusion of cultures, detachment, uniqueness. Form: the Petrarchan sonnet consists of 14 lines. The first octave 8 lines. Sestet contains 6 lines. The students will be able to understand the value of cultural diversity and will appreciate the cultural blends and its importance. Hope you are benefited by watching this interesting video. Thank you.